Hello, hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me. Today we have another pick a card, and today's pick a card is going to be what your new values are. We're going to look into what will become less important and why, what will become more important and why, and what is essential to you now. So you get the chance to pick a crystal, and I will talk about the properties of the crystal in the group. So I just want you to base it on what's pulling you, but they are going to be somewhat included in your reading, just so you know. So for pile 1, we have Desert Rose. Pile 2, we have Pink Opal. In pile 3, I'm pretty sure it's a Stophalite, if I'm not mistaken. I will correct it if I am wrong. All right, my beauties, take a second, see which crystal is calling to you, and I'll see you at your choice. Welcome, my pile 1, my Desert Rose beauties. So, the Desert Rose, where should I put you? The Desert Rose encourages honor, acceptance, wisdom. It's said to promote clarity, often used when confusion reigns, promoting focus and balance. It detoxifies and purifies body energy. Some people might use it to supplement in meditation. So the main properties that I'm feeling here is acceptance, honor, wisdom, clarity, and balance. So let's see how that plays into your reading, my lovelies. Let's spread out your cards. All right, my beautiful pile 1s. This row over here is going to be, this will become less important. This will become less important, and this is the why. This is the emotion behind the why and what you've learned from this particular choice or this experience, or why it is no longer important or becoming less important to you. I hope that makes sense. All right. First one out is Cat Spirit. Claim your independence, number 13. So it feels like a part of your new values, my Desert Rose group, is it's always interesting when you get these like really positive cards for something that you're letting go of or what is becoming less important. And I'm getting a really clear feeling of, I guess, solitude, of solo things, of wanting a companion. Like there's a feeling of very content in singledom or doing things alone or being very independent or hyper independent. That I think is what's changing. Like you're wanting community, yeah, wanting community, wanting people to communicate and talk with, wanting to feel a part of a tribe, a community. I just heard movement also. And it just feels like it's becoming less important for you to, I guess they're showing it to me in like being so standout-ish, in a way that has to be obviously seen. There's something about a quietness of a maturing is the best way I can get it. It's like they're giving me visuals of me in my early 20s. And about how when we used to go to clubs, like the clothing that you'd wear, like it didn't have to be extra scandalous, but it was always hella tighter than it needed to be. You know, and you're like trying to deliberately show off whatever it is that you find pretty sexy or appealing about yourself. You know, they're giving me that energy of that no longer, again, maturing out of that, no longer being a necessity for you to stand out in a particular way or to show up in a particular way. I feel like you've already honed this independence within self, and now you're looking for interconnectedness. Okay, let's see some of the whys. We have the 7 of Wands in the reverse. Ace of Pentacles, and Ma'at with Justice. So if I'm going to read the cards like literally how it was worded in my head, it speaks to exactly what we're talking about, of what is no longer going to be important, or becoming less important. The Seven of Wands, no longer fighting for this type of independence, that solidarity, that singledom, or that individualness, balancing it out with this justice, bringing back in justice to things that had been imbalanced within self. And that I feel like is that hyper independence. It's like I'm not going to fight for this stance anymore. Again, especially with that Ace of Pentacles in the middle, it's like I don't want to fight for the individual now. It's more of a collective energy. This is very lovely. Cool. Let's see the emotion behind it. The lover. Exactly. That's exactly right. It's like it feels like because I know that's like maybe somewhat of a blanket statement, but this is not quite how I feel it, but this is the best way I can describe it. And like I said, you've honed in this independence, and this lover of self, so to speak, is now allowing you to be a lover of all, a lover of more. Like I feel like you've done the work for that independence. You've claimed it, in other words, and you've loved whatever needed to be healed or whatever process you were going through. And now you're coming out of that, let's say, solo phase or hermit vibe, and stepping into experience of life, of people, of connection. Love that. Okay, let's see what you've learned. Or what will you learn, I should say. Would more tenderness help? Nest. This is beautiful. I have two energies that I'm getting first about what you may have learned. It's also, it's making me feel the tenderness to self, that was what was useful for you to come back to self, to be more loving and forgiving and giving to self. And like I said, how it's now been fully integrated into your cellular DNA, you are now able to bring more tenderness out of yourself. Hence that lover, that justice energy. It's really lovely. The Dear Mouse is also talking about your self-talk, of your inner dialogue, is your inner dialogue critical or reassuring? How do you instinctively treat yourself? This is, again, what you've learned, why you're able to give. It's asking you, what you've learned, it's asking you to use your power to uplift everyone. There is no hierarchy of importance in a truly free society. And that's what, again, this is all beautifully intertwined with what you are becoming less, or what's becoming less important to you. That's lovely. I love it. Okay, what's becoming more important to you now? Bat Spirit. A rebirth is assured. Nice. I really like this one. It's almost like, again, it's like the graduation, like the maturing, because of this reclaiming of the independence and understanding how to give better, that critical thinking of how are you treating yourself, is, like I said, has fully been integrated into your cellular DNA. Therefore, a rebirth is assured. This rebirth, this new you, this new version of you is what's becoming more important. I love it. Oh, they said something about quietness in the cave, sound, was that sound hearing, sonic, I can't remember what that's called, but they're giving it to me in that sense. Like there might be a particular gift with clairaudience, and I don't know how to describe this. It's almost like the sound creates the visual. Like it's not necessarily, it could be a part of clairvoyance, I'm not entirely sure, but like it feels like how they're showing it to me, it's like a sound creates the picture. That's I'm just gonna leave it there. Leave it there First card out is the Nine of Pentacles. Then you have the High Priestess, or the Priestess of Dreams, in the reverse. And the Three of Wands in the reverse. I'm getting a sense of why this is happening, or why it's becoming more important. It's, again, fully understood past lessons for this rebirth to be assured. That Nine of Pentacles, that bounty, that self-assuredness, again, talking about that independence, right? And that High Priestess in the reverse, talking about bringing things to light, secrets, wisdom gained, so that you can move forward with that energy, with that wisdom, with that knowledge. In the Three of Wands, and I always feel the Three of Wands in the reverse, should I say always? Mostly feel the Three of Wands in the reverse, talks to me about no longer waiting. Like, I'm sure that not everybody views it that way, but for me it does. Since that upright, it's always about like ships coming in, waiting for your bounty, your cornucopia of stuff. And this one for me in the reverse, especially in this deck for some reason, I feel like there's no longer waiting because it's present. You know, like it's right here, right now for you to be able to do. So hence why it's assured. I love it. What are the emotions? The Friend. I heard being a friend to yourself and a friend to many. It's like you end up becoming a part of this justice, you know? A part of the clarity, hence your desert rose. You know, that balancing out, just like the desert rose. Relieving the confusion, you know? Like that kind of energy is what I'm getting from this Friend. And why this is becoming more important also is because, again, talking about that connection, you know? Friends are going to probably be way more important for you. And how you give to those friendships exactly. Would tenderness be more helpful? That's for you to decide. But it's lovely. It does feel like, again, talking about a community energy, or like a really solid friendship or partnership, however that plays out. Okay, let's see what you've learned. Black-footed ferret. Is it time to reclaim and reinvent the structures in my life? The takeover. Talk about rebirth. Rebirth is assured, right? Is it time? Yeah, it's time. You are fully taking over there and reinventing and reclaiming the structures of your life. That's exactly what you're doing. You've learned it. Like, the takeover is occurring. Like I said, it's happening now. Oh, that's so perfect. The black-footed ferret isn't really shy about making someone else's world their own. In fact, it's the very key to their survival. And I think that's a really beautiful phrase for what's happening here. It's like learning how to be independent is very needed. And again, solidifying and having sovereignty in oneself. And then understanding that how to give better, how to love better, then creates more harmony, community, and taking over of that past version of self, again, to meld, to unify with other. And it's also learning from your past experience, of course, and learning from your past relationships, dynamics, however this plays out. And it echoes to like none of us or none of this would exist before those who came, would exist without those who came before us. You know, and I do feel like it's more of a sense of like a universal understanding of community and love and connectedness. It also reminds you though that you can have gratitude and receive what works for you, while at the same time rejecting what doesn't. So in your pursuit of finding these people and, you know, the right companions or the right ingredients for you, or whatever the case is, don't be afraid to still be discerning. That even though that you're loving and there is something loving within everybody, there is a reason why there are vibrations, you know, and find the right vibration for you and trust it, because you know. I love this. Okay, let's see what's essential to you now. Nice. Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide. I just heard Bob Marley's Buffalo Soldier, dreadlock Rasta. And then I heard the phrase, fighting for survival. I don't know if it's fighting for arrival. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's the right lines, but it's in there somewhere. But those are the lines that came out. So again, the abundant universe will provide, and I think you already know this, and you're moving into this rebirthed energy for you to really fully grasp this abundancy of the universe. Like I said, this universal kind of collective community. I really do feel like that's what's happening for you. I love it. Why? Lord of Cups, King of Cups in the reverse, Three of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune, Ouroboros. It's interesting. I'm getting a feeling of like they're phrasing it like no longer needing to hide what I've been doing. Like the work that I've been putting in on my hermit journey, on my solo journey, on my independence journey. It's like whatever, like I said in the beginning, like whatever phase or whatever you've been cultivating or whatever this hermit, whatever you did within this hermit energy, especially with this King of Lords, excuse me, the Lord of Cups in the reverse, it's really making me feel like I can, like, legitimately in control of my emotions. Like, more, I don't know why, I've never really gotten that energy with this card before, but it really does feel like, especially because that cup there with that water coming up and making that sphere and that energy in the hands, and that in the reverse, for me, it's like, vroom, right into that, even though your heart's on this side, but like right into that heart center area, you know? It's like I'm the one looking at what I'm creating here, fully in control and knowing how we are co-creating with this universal energy. Again, this co-creation with this universal energy, that sort of divine feminine energy and rooted material and emotional energy, like that masculine and feminine energy, in other words. Sorry, don't know why that could come out of my mouth. And I'm also feeling like a sense of like reaching a particular level of mastery within this energy that you've already cultivated. Again, which brings in this beautiful motion of fortune, you know, when it comes to community, love, friendship, family. However this plays out for you. Let's see the emotions behind it. Surprise, yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's like, because it's not, you know, this is what's becoming essential for you, you know? And it's almost what I feel, almost like you want that surprise element, even though knowing what you're creating. It's almost like, let's say this, like I know that I'm getting a ring, like a new ring, you know, from somebody or whatever the case is, but you don't know like what gem it is, what finger it'll be on, how big it is. It's that kind of energy. I know it's a pretty crappy example, but it's the best one I could think of at the moment for this energy I'm feeling. And like, even though you know something's coming, you don't actually know exactly how it's going to transpire. It's really lovely, and that's what's essential to you now, a sense of surprise, a sense of emotional clarity, you know, of understanding, of balance, of harmony, of collective, collaborative, creative collaborations, in other words. A beautiful sense of symmetry and harmony amongst the people that you're around. I love that. What have you learned? Or what will you learn, I should say? Meadowlark, protect. How can I safeguard what is sacred to me? That's beautiful. Yeah, and that's going to be because of this whole process, right? Because you're in this new like community vibe. There's certain things that are going to be of different importance now because I think of these like better friends, better companions, better company. The Meadowlark teaches us to protect our aliveness instead of shielding ourselves from life experience, hence the surprise. You know, like it's like that's what you want. You want to experience life fully, like I said, step in and embrace and experience everything now. The dreams and aspirations are worthy of your care and attention, no matter what it takes. What do you want to outlast you? That's beautiful. What do you want to outlast you? And that's that what will become more essential for you. That is beautiful, ʻpaoʻan. Amazing. Okay, let's get your final guidance, my lovelies, which is the motivation cards for each column, I should say. So for what is becoming less important, the claiming your independence, your guidance here is, I'm going to read it to you. We gain power from again and again, allowing ourselves to choose the kind of recklessness that allows us to be vulnerable, genuine, and brave in pursuit of our dreams. Fully fitting for that. So that braveness of you releasing and, again, fully understanding and integrating this particular lesson has been something of bravery and genuine pursuit of the dream. So they're proud of you. That's what I feel. But what is becoming more important, or what will becoming more important, it says, we do not need more time. We need a stronger reason to act so that we use time more effectively. And that's what you're doing. Using time more effectively on how you connect, how you take over, how you reclaim, how you reinvent, what's important to you, how you connect. Beautiful. And advice for what's essential to you now or will be. It says, we must not lose the urgency of this moment as it begs for us to begin something grand and important. Exactly. The universe, the abundant universe will provide. Grand and important, my lovely. That is what is going to be essential. And that's, again, what are you making? What do you want to outlast you? Is that your character? Is that love? Is that things? Whatever it is, it's worth fighting for. Oh, my beautiful collective of my desert rose, I hope this was helpful. I'm sending you so much love. Please let me know how this resonated. I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, ciao. Welcome, my pal 2, my pink opal pile. So your pink opal, some of the healing properties are, it provides gentle healing through peace and tranquility, helps relieve stress and clears the mind so you can find solutions. It encourages creativity and enthusiasm, a sense of renewal and spiritual awakening. So, let's see what your new values are. Let's spread out your cards. Okay, my lovely pink opal. I also do remember that the pink opal helps with like acne and beauty, if I'm not mistaken, and skincare. Side note, I don't know why they just made me say that, but either way, okay, let's see. So your first row, or this area, the first row, I should say, this is what's becoming less important to you, this particular card. This is the why, the emotions behind it, and what you've learned or what you will learn. What's becoming more important to you, the why, etc., and what is essential to you now. Cool, so let's get started. What is becoming less important? Coyote Spirit, trust in divine detours. Oh, they're saying to me that it's not like, excuse me, let me just say what they said. It's no longer needing to trust, you just believe now. It's like there's no need for you to like push the trust or push to believe that this is the best thing that could happen for you in this current energy. It's almost like in your past or in previous moments where things didn't necessarily go as planned, you may have been like really frustrated or continually asking yourself why. And now it feels like you just trust. It's like, oh, all right, this is the way I'm going now. Like there's no hesitation, there's no resistance, in other words. Lovely. Let's see why. Spirit of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Ten of Cups. And Six of Wands in the reverse. I'm getting it's like because in areas where situations made you feel halted or stalled, no longer affect you in a way that it did before. There's an ultimate sense of faith, understanding, and trust that does not need to be personified into things. Meaning, I'm getting a sense of like, you no longer need like the big aha moments, not to say that you're not going to get them, but it's like, because you're so adept at recognizing and interpreting the signs that Spirit's giving you, you're not missing much anymore, is what I'm feeling. Whereas before, you had to have bigger things for you to be like, listen, Spirit's like, listen, turn this way. And now it's sort of just like mini taps being like, hey, and you're like, oh, wrong way. And you keep moving. That's the best way I could describe it. Interesting. Okay, let's see what the emotions are behind it. Haughtiness. Yeah, like what is no longer important for you. It's like, again, it's sort of like that needing the big thing or needing to be shown or seen in a particular way. Or I'm also getting like trust in the people that have trust in the choices of the people who left your life. They were no longer benefiting to your alchemical process of growth. I heard they were only feeding ego. Ego in the sense that it came out in haughtiness. A little bit of pride, a little bit of ego, a little bit of boastful energy, boasty. But that's what I feel like the reason why trusting in the divine detours is becoming less important is because you don't need to trust anymore. It's like, you just know. I also feel like a sense of like regality within yourself. It's almost like that sense of a beautiful sense of calm when somebody is in a particular state of enlightenment. You know, it's like it's that comfortable, confident energy where you could walk into a room of complete strangers and opposite energies and you be at ease. Like, that's the feeling I'm getting. Your pile is giving me so many, like, again, detours. So many detours. At first, there was something bothering me about something that I was looking at over here in my apartment, and then I had to get up and fix it for no reason. Like, it wasn't necessary for me to fix it at that moment, but it was bothering me and I couldn't focus. You know, and I feel like that's part of the energy. It was like you were so consumed by what was not working prior that it distracted you from so many little things about yourself. And now what you're letting go of is, again, not trusting that these detours are for your benefit. And that comfortability and calm of that, the description or the example I gave you is how that energy feels. Cool. Okay, what have you learned? That's fitting. Liberate. Prairie smoke. What reminds me I'm free? Woo! And that's it. What reminded you that you were free? Was this beautiful trusting in the detours of this beautiful Ten of Cups energy, the satiety of the truth. Oh, that's awesome. The prairie smoke is symbology of something is ready to be unlocked, which we already know, right? Which is what we talked about is what is becoming less important. That's all being released, discovered, uncovered. It's about soul searching through the opening is up to you. How much you open, how much you are receptive to this divine detours, which I feel are really, really embracing. And it says sometimes a break is needed for the breakthrough. And I think that's what you've learned. I think you've taken that pause for the break for you now to break through out of that energy, why it's becoming less important. Prairie smoke encourages for swift action without judgment or condemnation to self and to others. Again, letting go of that haughtiness energy. Through the power of your own choice. In the book, there's a phrase in here that I'd like to read. It says, maybe an external circumstance is forcing confrontation or change, whether desired or not. What if it's a part of your fertilization process? It can be an important growth opportunity, and this is exactly what's happening. That's what I feel. So that's what I feel that you've learned, my lovely pink opal. The liberating yourself from the self-doubt and trusting in the spirit, in your spiritual intuition, and how you've been divinely guided in whatever direction you may be leading to now. Amazing. Let's see what is becoming more important to you. Grow spirit. Co-create with spirit. Yep, absolutely. That's absolutely it. Like, there's no longer needing to trust. You just do. There's no like force and effort to trust it. You are, and you're understanding that this is what is important now, to co-create with this beautiful connection that I have already cultivated. Keep co-creating. Why? 5 of Swords. Spirit of Cups. Knight of Cups. And then the Sun in the reverse. I'm curious if my pile twos, if you didn't feel as connected to your own source energy and spirituality. Like, I mean in a deeper sense, you know, like as a personal choice. Because there, as with many, you know, who get introduced to religion, it's through family, it's through what is done before, you know, what was done before, the religious beliefs and cultural beliefs of whoever is bringing you up, you know? That's what the energy that they're giving me, and it almost feels like this is now a personal choice to do this, like to be active in this field or area or emotion. It almost feels like I've been an observer of spirituality before, and now I can finally be a participant. I'm hearing I didn't really understand it before. And for some, I just heard until I had a very low period. I'm also hearing I couldn't see the benefit of something ethereal. That's not tangible, that's not here. What use is it if they're not here, if it's not here? That's the feeling I'm getting. This is interesting. So what it feels like then that's becoming more important in echoing, in reference to co-create with spirit, it's like releasing the self-doubt and trusting the intuition and stepping into that purpose. That's your own personal spiritual purpose. That's why these detours were important, and the place where you're at of being comfortable with trusting in the detours was what was essential in the detour. It wasn't necessarily the detour. Interesting. Let's see the emotions. Money. I take that as an abundance, and when I was talking about like the material thing, you know, like it's not here, so how is that useful if it's just in the ethers? You know, and I feel that that's why how I should say you've become more present when it comes to your co-creation with spirit or your spiritual evolution. There is an influx, a bounty within this transition, in this choice, in this awareness and understanding of self. Wow, what did you learn? Grasshopper, jump. Where am I ready to leap forward? That's what you've learned. Exactly, to leap forward out of that past belief or past version of self, ready to jump into this new purpose, like I said, the spiritual purpose within. The grasshopper spirit reminds us that as you synthesize recent experiences, imagine the derived wisdom coiling into springs, allowing you to jump forward. It's like all of what you have learned, again, which is what we've talked about, is what is allowing you to jump into this spiritual newness. That's really how I want to word it. It feels like a spiritual newness. And again, even if you were extremely religious before, it is now more spiritually based. And if you were completely not spiritual or no religious connection, it feels like you're tapping into something that is essentially spiritual that may not present as spiritual, but leads you into opening up into your own spirituality. I hope that makes sense. For example, it can be something as simple as art, like painting. you know, that you end up zoning out and you find this crazy meditation, and then you're finding your own particular sense of enlightenment, then you might start automatic drawing, you know, like it's that kind of energy if it's, you know, not accustomed to your everyday when it comes to how it presents in your life or how it can just be shown to you. Beautiful. Let's see what is essential to you now. White Raven Spirit. Trust in the magic. Ooh. It's so perfect, right? Like the fact that you are no longer needing to like quote unquote forcefully trust, you just do now in the divine detours. And now what's essential for you now because of this, you are now trusting in the magic. It's literally that. It's like I'm able to trust in everything that happens, you know? I accept everything as is while I continue to create what I want. Oh, it's awesome. And then we have the Nine of Wands in the reverse. Eight of Cups in the reverse. And the Six of Swords in the reverse. Interesting. No longer needing to be in your head or walking away to find better or different solutions, or being angry or discontent with moving away from something or having a detour. Again, it's talking about no longer, again, it's about path and direction, like very heavily for you. And it's really echoed here in the bottom line of what's essential. It's like, I don't have to fight. I can find that flow easily. The more that I resist and fight is when I don't trust, is when the detours feel like obligations or obstacles. You know, now I trust in the magic. I don't have to overthink. I don't need to run away, and I don't need to look for like smoother waters or calmer waters. Like I don't need to do any of that because I'm already in that flow because I trust in the magic. That's very cool. Yeah, they just said walking away or walking towards something that's external, it's not necessary anymore. Again, that practical material plane energy. It's no need, it's not necessary. It was more so the strategy to come back into spirit and into source than anything. Oh, this is so cool. And then joyfulness is the emotion. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Bringing in joy into everything again because you're in that flow. You are in flow. Or will be. I really kind of feel like you're in it, my friend. Like I really do. I already feel like this is in the process. This is where you're currently at right now, or maybe even just past this. And you're in this, like, these two areas sort of are blending together for me energetically. So cool. I love it. Let's see what you've learned. Do you remember the time, Michael? 13-lined ground squirrel. What eternal knowing can I access in human form? Woo! Trust in the magic, right? What eternal knowing can you manifest in human form, or can you access, I should say, in human form? The squirrel is a reminder that you are ready to explore what this time signifies for you personally. How are you being called to level up? And you're doing it. You already know how you're being called. In my opinion, I think you know. It's a very beautiful time of transformation, change, growth, rebirth. And that's it. It's like really fully anchoring in now the trust in the magic. It's like what happens when the detour is accepted is freaking magical. That's what it feels like. Oh, it's so nice. Let's see. This is great. So let's see what your advice is for what is becoming less important to you now. Or your guidance, I should say. I'll hold it up, but I will read it to you. It says, when we ready ourselves for our ultimate destiny, when we release our childish, selfish needs, that's such a tongue twister for me. When we release our childish, selfish needs and realign our priorities to those of the heart, we can finally reach those magnificent fields of human empathy, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, generosity, and courage. When we ready ourselves for the ultimate destiny and we let go of the childish and selfish needs and realign our priorities to those of the heart. And that's what you've done. You've liberated yourself. What reminds you that you're free. You know, that's what you've done. That is the courage, that bravery, that empathy, that human kindness to yourself and to others. What is becoming more important to you now says, let us not hope for mere chance to change our story. Let us summon the courage to change it ourselves. Some will stand in our way, but we mustn't hide or minimize ourselves any longer. That's this. Co-creating with spirit, jumping into that energy, into your own spirituality, you know, this growth, this evolution. It's lovely. And for what's essential to you now, it says, without self-mastery, we are slaves to fear, impulse, and conformity. With self-mastery, joy, greatness, and transcendence are ours. Ours. Excuse me. I've had some really talking issues with your pile today, but regardless, the energy feels like joyful, hard in the beginning. Don't get me wrong. It was definitely hard to finally find that flow of trusting in the detour, but you're in it, in my opinion. And that self-mastery of what you're creating here, of knowing that there's no need to run or run away or be angry or bothered by a particular change, you know? You are accessing all that you need to during this time as you change your particular values. And I think it's a beautiful progression. Lovely, 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 my beautiful pink opal pile. I hope that was helpful. Please let me know if this resonated. I'd love to read about it. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love. Ciao. Welcome, my pile 3 astrophyllite. So some of the healing properties of astrophyllite are, it is believed to reveal a person's true self and help them discover their true life purpose. It is said to remove negative energy, advocate self-love and acceptance, often called the marriage stone. It is believed to promote fidelity and helps a person deal with major transformations throughout life. It's more powerful when used on the third eye chakra, the soul star chakra, and the crown chakra. Beautiful stone. Okay, let's see what your new values are. Let me spread out your cards. Okay, my beautiful pile 3s. Side note, I'm interested or curious if my pile 3s or some of you have been feeling a little bit overheated or hot or getting hot flashes. I'm also getting a sense of, I'm having a very heavy deja vu right now and a sense of being in heat. Don't know how that's relative or relevant, but that's what just came up. Okay. So in our rows here, our first column is going to be what is becoming less important to you. This is the why, the emotions behind it, and what you have or will learn. What's becoming more important to you, the same, etc. And what's essential to you now, the why, feeling, etc., what you've learned. Awesome blossom. So let's see what's becoming less important, pile 3. Vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. I first heard understanding that there's value in everything, that every experience and every setback has not been a waste, but a building block on your character and spiritual development. I'm also getting a sense of what's becoming less important is you sort of like eating away at yourself, like bad self-talk or overly critical of yourself, overly judgmental. That kind of stuff is being put aside. Let's see some of the why. Lady of Cups, Queen of Cups, Three of Swords. It's my favorite Three of Swords in any deck so far. And the Dream Angel, excuse me, which is a star. I just heard every emotional experience, every heartbreak has led me closer to my destiny. That's the reason why it's not wasted. Even if that's not you, it feels like your higher self speaking if it's not your conscious mind. It feels like I've loved and lost and gained. Like that's the energy I feel. Nothing was wasted. Everything has been cherished, or you have found a deeper appreciation for all of those things now. That's lovely. Let's see the emotions behind it. Malady, yeah. I've loved and lost, and my emotions have been hurt. I have hurt myself. I've judged myself, but nothing has been wasted. It's literally, truly a feeling of acceptance, like quite literally acceptance. And speaking back to your stone, you know, of assisting through major transitional phases in life, of the marriage stone, it might have to do with relationships in particular. It can be about, again, that opening up of the third eye crown chakra, the star chakra, or the soul star chakra, excuse me. Removing the negative energy, like all of this, it's like that's what's, you know, becoming less important for you now, is the dwelling on the whys, certain things happened. It's now just gratitude. That's lovely. What have you learned? Crack, walnut tree. What do I know without knowing why or how? Exactly. That brain, you know, with that walnut energy. And in some degree, I actually feel like you know why you know these things. It's not like you don't know why or how. It's you've come to that understanding based on past experiences, and that creates the understanding or the description of the how. The walnut tree, the walnut tree helps us unwrap the layers that shroud our innate wisdom and counsels us to use our brains in service to our hearts, rather than the other way around. Service to our hearts, and that's what you've done. That's what you've learned. That's what you're doing. And it says, if there's a question that you're asking yourself, the answer to your question does exist. It's already inside of you, and you're probably aware of it, or can feel it niggling or nudging for your attention, however hazy that sensation may feel. And you know that now. It's like nothing has been wasted. I know exactly what this is, why it happened, where I was, why it needed to play out, that kind of energy. That's beautiful. What's becoming more important to you now? Dragonfly spirit. Truth transcends illusion. Yes! Yes! Truth transcends illusion, as nothing is wasted. Understanding that gratitude. It's freaking awesome, man. This is so good. Why? Because the dream carrier, which is the Empress, the Seven of Swords, and the Four of Pentacles. You know what's interesting? What I'm getting here, it's like truth transcends illusion. The dream carrier is like, this is the truth, that dream carrier, of what the gratitude of what has been learned. The truth in all of the confusion and the illusions from the past. Understanding that, knowing that there have been multiple layers for you to get to the sweetness of that onion. You know, I don't like onions, but I'm very aware that there is, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong, that it gets a little bit sweeter the closer you get to the center. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it may be a particular type of onion, but that's what they're giving me now. So that energy of peeling away the illusions, you know, of cutting to the truth from out of the confusion, of maintaining that dreamer, empress, nurturing, vibrant energy. That's why it's becoming more important for you. It's like, I am going to maintain in this dreamer energy, and I have cut out the illusion. I have peeled back the layers of deception within myself and within connections, dynamics, etc. What is the feeling? Science, yeah. And this is so interesting. This woman feels so, again, calm, at ease, waiting, noticing, recognizing, gratitude, patience, stillness. And I'm also getting that there's like a past dream or want or wish that can finally be like action or momentum be put into now more consciously because of the dismantling of the illusion. Love that. What have you learned? Oh, look at this. You got the star twice. Star in the tarot and star in your guidance cards. Like destiny, path, understanding, truth, soul star. They said soul star chakra, but North Star is what I was getting at. It's beautiful. Like, it's That's what's more important to you. It's like following that destiny of truth and waiting for the signs for me to, I don't know, react, not react, trust, not trust. It's, again, this feels like very much intuition and paying attention to the signs Spirit is giving you. It's all here, and you have been, is what I'm saying. That's what's becoming more important, paying attention to those signs. That will not bring you back into this energy of self-defeat or being swayed or manipulated by an illusion. I love it. What's essential to you now? Yes, Hawk Spirit. Let Spirit be your guide. Absolutely. I think that's exactly what you're doing. And you're, especially after this period, like whenever, if this has not already completed in the sense of the feeling, I feel like the energies have completed, but the processing may not be fully completed. But I do think that you're at least minimum halfway, minimum. And I feel that what's essential to you now is letting Spirit guide you because of what you're grateful for, because the truth has transcended the illusion. And now you are letting Spirit guide you because you can see the truth. Again, especially with this 𝗼ᴜᴜ? Yes, 𝗼ᴜᴜ energy. Then you have the Two of Swords answering the why. Okay. The Moon Chariot, which is the Chariot. And Nine of Swords in the reverse. Anyways, what I'm feeling here is, it's interesting how Spirit will change the wording when I'm looking at certain cards. Anyways, let Spirit be your guide. Part of the reason that you are, I guess, why this is so essential for you now is coming back to trusting the intuition and not overly thinking or getting overly consumed by thoughts in the mind, of moving towards the release of the confusion. It's, again, it really feels like I'm really learning. It really does feel like I'm really learning to trust in, again, Spirit's guide. And I'm being led by Spirit to come out of the confusion of my mind or the overthink. You know, that's what's essential. It's about maintaining this new thought process, you know, of what had already been revealed truth-wise, how the layers of illusion have been peeled away. And now with those illusions being peeled away, this new sense of how you trust your intuition will alter, because now you're putting more emphasis on the things that you may have put aside. And you're like, oh, all of that had been truth, and I had been listening to some falseness possibly. And now I know what that other feels like. That's the best way I can describe it. I know what the other feels like for me to know what the truth is. Interesting. Let's see your feelings. Look at this. Fortune. Exactly. I'm fortunate to let Spirit be my guide, and I'm very fortunate to have discovered this for me to know what my personal truth is. And that's a big deal. Not everybody can say that, my love. That's huge. Wow. What have you learned? Climb. Bobcat. How can I go higher? Exactly. Exactly. Especially with Spirit being your guide and you trusting that intuition, it's perfect. The Bobcat talks about extending your claws and climbing technically. It's asking you to actively expand your intake of the issue on your mind. You might need to see things from a higher place through the lens of Spirit itself. To enlighten your approach, strengthen this ability by practice, whether through meditation or quiet reflection. It will be a reliable tool for helping you make decisions in the future, especially if these moments of clouded thought or overjudgments come and creep back in. It doesn't feel like it's going to be that strong, but I feel like if you end up getting confused again, step back into the quiet and, again, just wait and receive in that patient feminine energy. That's so lovely, my beautiful pile threes. Yours is a much quicker reading than the rest of them, and I feel like it's because you're in a state of grace. Like, it really does feel like that. And again, like I said, even if you are only halfway through this process of really understanding that, it doesn't matter. It still feels like it's coming. And again, this truth transcends illusion. It's like, it's major, you know? I can see the truth now within me and others, is what they just said. I have placed my crown back on my head and have begun to nurture my body as well. They're bringing me to the apple and the onion. There might be very specific properties in those particular vegetables, fruits, that might be of significance in some way, or like a spiritual significance in some way, or that relates. You let me know. And they're also bringing me to here when I was looking at Let Spirit Be Your Guide, and they're showing me this airplane, you know, like of this sort of like turbulent sea monster, and Spirit being the one who's leading you to your truth, that feminine energy, to that receptivity, to that resting place. That's what I'm getting. It's like you're being able to trust now, not fearing the turbulent emotions, not fearing what might come up out of the depths, but still on that path towards that North Star, towards your own destiny. Again, chariot taking you towards that moon, towards that destiny. No longer being in your mind, feeling desolate or confused or alone even. Fortune favors the brave is what they just said too. Beautiful. Let's see your guidance now, my lovely, for each column. So what has become less important to you? Here's your guidance. I'll read it to you. We do not need to wait. We do not need to await more resources. We need to act, and we will find abundance comes to us. Nothing is wasted. We do not need to await more resources. Like you've learned what you needed to learn, meaning you don't need to spend more time in that energy. You've evolved, you've graduated, you've grown. Love that. What is becoming more important to you? Your guidance says, our greatest personal power is the ability to take over our impulses and direct our minds to choices and commitments that will serve us. Choices and commitments that will also serve us. And that's what's important to you now. Your ability to take over your impulses, whatever that may be. And what's essential to you now. It says, any plunge into the unknown is reckless, but that's where the treasure lies. I love it. That's where the treasure lies. It's reckless, but this is where you're going to find that fortune. You know, it might feel that way, but you are doing exactly what you need to be doing, my lovely. You have 2-star energies here. Fortune, signs, a lot of things about signs. Again, about the crown chakra, third eye, soul star chakra. Might be really significant. Astrophyllite might be a really great stone for you right now. But my beautiful collective of Pile 3, this was lovely. And I hope this gave you the information you were seeking. Please let me know how and if this resonated. I'd love to read about it. I am sending you so much love. Until next time, keep watering your lives. Ciao.